good afternoon, Roxanne. Hi, Kenneth, and all those who are locked on. Let me just take a sip of something. When your mouth dry, you're talking, the bubbles just come out like if you're blowing a balloon. But all you have to do, I put the straw in the glass and put it in the fridge, and all the straws stick up in the. Yes, I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I'll honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, my elders, and those in authority. I'll be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds, and I'll strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country. And I do love my country, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm proud to be a citizen of this cosmopolitan country. We have our challenges, we have our issues, but let me tell you something. Trinidad and Tobago is far better off than most countries in the world. And it's only when people leave here and go away, then they just realize how much they miss Trinidad and Tobago. Let me give you a joke quick. So my mother wanted to go to the States. I probably think I said this already. And she didn't want to go by herself. And she wanted me to go with her. I didn't want to go, but she wanted to go. That's a lifelong dream because she probably felt America was the land of milk and honey and the streets were paved in gold. I don't know, but she wanted to go. So I went with her. And my cousin told us we come in A. When I go, it wasn't A, it was really B. So me and my mouth hot. It ended up in a tanga. No physical, nothing, but no, my mouth hot. So I decided, see me, let me leave she, my cousin and my mother, and let me look and go somewhere else and pray out that whole month I gone up there for. So I called a girlfriend of mine, so living in Queen. She said, come now, she tell me how to reach by her. So I in the train station and thing, stand up there and looking around. So some black guys came talking to me, you know, what's up and that kind of thing. And then this white guy came and then they walk away and I was like, oh my God, I've seen so much movies in the States, these white people, you know, like serial killers and stuff. Suppose he's one. You know, mine just go all over the damn place, well, at least mine. So he's like, where are you off to? And I was like, yeah, I'm waiting for the train to go left first and blah, 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 whatever. But while I standing up there, I hear somebody called Jenny. I said I could only be somebody from Trinidad. And when I look, it was a woman I don't talk to. I'd stopped talking for a long while. But when we see each other, we just run and embrace each other. And it's like, oh my God. That's how we just get when you're out there these days. Let me tell you something. People I wasn't talking to long here. When you see them up there, you'll be so happy to see somebody from Trinidad and Tobago. So let me tell you, I love TNT. I love it because all I wanted to do when I was up there is get back home. So anyways, let me start the thing. So thank you all again for listening, lockdown and tuning. Because, you know, it always has something to talk about. So we have some good news. And what is the good news, people? I'm seeing that there is a youth soccer competition. And it's always had that? Yeah. Yeah, man, I think they always had them thing, just like how it have the youth soccer monarch thing and that kind of bacchanal. So it have the youth soccer. And I am seeing Papa. Let me just make sure. So this was in the Trinidad Express 5 hours ago. 1 million prize for ultimate soccer champion competition. I thought it was youth this day. Hey, I see the wrong thing. Yes, Papa, it happens. So it says here, $1 million prize has been announced for the ultimate soccer champion competition. I don't know where I get youth from, you know. 10 soccer artists will compete for the title in a new event set to replace the now defunct International Soccer Monarch competition, Jerome Rome Priscilla has announced. Competition brings out the best in artists, Priscilla said. Soccer champions from across the region and the world will be invited to participate for a grand prize, Priscilla said. He said the competition will not be divided between power and ruby soccer. Audition began next Saturday at the Southern Academy for the Performing Arts. SAPA was built by, you know who, Mr. Manning, And we have Napa in the north, Sapa in the south. Priscilla made a statement a short while ago in a press conference held at the Queen's Hall, St. Anne's. So it was some hours ago. The International Snooker Monarch ISM competition was cancelled in 2023 and 2024 due to lack of funding and low attendance. The Ultimate Snooker Champion competition will now have a reality show aspect and a youth champion. Priscilla said, I know I see youth somewhere, man. He said the reality show aspect will help the artists to build their fan base while offering a behind-the-scenes look at their journey. Priscilla said he believes the introduction of the youth champion will help fill a void that currently exists in the landscape. The age group for the youth soca champion is 16 to 25, and the first place prize for the youth soca champion will be $200,000. I know I didn't see wrong. So people, we get back, we Soca Monarch, but it's not Soca Monarch again, and thing. It's called Ultimate Soca Champion, and there's also two aspects. There's youth, and then the elders, and it's also going to be a reality show, showing behind the scenes, getting to know the artists and all that. So I look forward to it. It sounds exciting. And Carnival is close, people. Carnival is close. Hi, Anne-Marie. Hi, Joycelyn. Hi, Dandy. Hi, Kenneth. Let me go again. So Carnival, we know Carnival in the air. I know Carnival is bacchanal. Carnival is bacchanal. What is it, bacchanal? I'm seeing here people. Let me see. It's opening, it's opening, it's opening, it's opening. All I hear in my head is sweetness. Going to read something, so and then the wicked is bent over. You know that rhythm that all them riding? Oh God, the thing in my head, boy. It's sweet too bad. So this is in the Guardian. Carnival 2025 to cost taxpayers over $140 million. 16 hours ago in the Guardian. Carnival 2025 is expected to cost taxpayers more than $150 million. National Carnival Commission NCC Chairman Winston Peters has confirmed. However, in an interview with Guardian Media yesterday, Peters said despite the substantial budget, the NCC will not be increasing amounts of Carnival competition. It's never sufficient, but at the end of the day, you have to work with what you have. We can't live in the past. Things are not the way they used to be. Our country is under stress like most of the world, and we have to work with what we have, Peter stated. Acknowledging concerns over reduced funding, he noted, people will say they used to get 200 million, but that's used to because you don't have it now. If our fortunes change, we might very well get it again. But for now, we have to continue to work with what we have. However, the assistance provided to unsponsored steel bands have been increased this year. During a ceremony at the Queen's Park Savannah yesterday, Trinbago distributed checks to over 149 unsponsored bands from all over Trinidad and Tobago. Trinbago President Beverly Ramsey Moore attributed the increase to successful negotiations with the Minister of Tourism, Culture and the Arts. We were able to negotiate and convince our ministry, our line minister, to give us a little more. I will leave that for the permanent secretary to disclose how much a little more will be, which will go to you and our players. Players will also be given a little more, she added. The Trinbago president also highlighted ongoing efforts to secure funding from private sector. Ramsey Moore said, we have fixed ourselves. We took note of our challenges, and as a people, as a community leader, we worked on rebranding, cleaning up the organization. When we did that, the world took notice. The government took notice. Corporate Trinidad and Tobago took notice. She further added, we are meeting with several groups in the corporate sector who are willing to sponsor. Our marketing department has now advanced from simply asking for donation to attracting steel band ambassadors. These companies are now willing to come on board, not just for Carnival, but to assist us throughout the year with all our activities. They are joining as steel band ambassadors, contributing amount starting from $750,000 up. Ramsey Moore also commended the government and organization for passing the National emblem of Trinidad and Tobago Amendment Bill 2025, which places the national instrument on our coat of arms. Speaking at a check distribution, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, Martel Waldron, announced that the amount allocated for single pan bands has been increased to $10,000, while conventional bands will receive $20,000. He expressed hope that these amounts will significantly assist in their preparation, the bands in their preparation for the competition. And this is a good time for me to play, because when they ask where Pan reach, we see where Pan reach. Pan has been recognized now all over the world as the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago, because it has been made the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago under the instrument bill. So that was passed. We also now have the steel pan replacing the Pinta, the Maria, the Santa thing, and whatever, with the steel pan and the sticks. We have where the UN has declared August 11th every year as World Steel Pan Day. We have now the chrome factories back up and running, so the men who manufacture the pans and them down here, they don't have to send them away to chrome. It cut the chroming right here. We also have a vibrant industry making pans. So pan manufacturers were given grants and stuff by the government. We have men making the leather case for the steel pan. We have them making sticks and all that. So it has become a business. Not only that, you all remember that they had to come off the hill because of crime and other issues, and then they went down to the abandoned lot by where the French used to be on Chadwick Road. And the government would have assisted and built the Despas Pan Theatre, not up the hill again in Lavender, but around Duncan Street side, Nelson Street, around there. It's a whole pan theatre thing on here happening. Businesses going on there also. They have things selling to eat. They have pan theatre. They can do shows. They sell stuff. So it's a business. Exodus also have their own area where they have food selling, drink selling, and so many other bands have that happening. And when you have the panorama now in the communities, you find that people come out and sell their products. So there's a whole industry of small business entrepreneurs. And I come into something, So the steel pan movement has really moved to the next level. And because now, especially as it has been recognized as the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago, nobody can take it from us. So it has gotten that global look. Not that it wasn't out there all the time, but now you know it is legal. And we have carnivals all over the world and panoramas all over the world. They need steel pans, so the business booming. And I'll tell you why this is important. Because we knew where the pan came from, and we know that there are some in our space did not like the steel pan. They found it was too much noise. You remember, I think it was said that Satmarat deceased would have said, I'm paraphrasing, you don't want it in the school. People used to say one set of noises, no, ting ting. And they say when them children studying in the night, we train playing pan, and a whole set of derogatory things. And so pan came from a long, long place. And I would tell you, if Dr. Eric Williams was alive today, he would have been so proud, because this is what it was like. I hope I ain't twisting the arm thing. If I think anymore, I'll drop off the seat. So I am reading here just a little piece from Steel Band Music in Trinidad and Tobago, the creation of a people's music by William R. Aho, PhD. So he has a doctorate. So I'm going to read the area where he speaks about. It's lengthy, but I just have to write some kind of note. I'm just going to develop note, not that. Just give me a minute to get directly to it. See my note, not this like that. Ooh, it's lengthy. But there's an area I want to read. Again, this was a paper written by, I'll get back his name when I go back up to the top. Balance, no, wow. I think this is his thesis. Well, I commented, because it's important that we understand where pan reach, right? So there's an area in his paper that he speaks about social change and acceptance of steel pans. A precise ordering of the factors that influence the gradual acceptance of steel band music is not possible, since they overlap and since there is no consensus, even amongst persons on the scene, concerning the chronology of events and their importance. Growing acceptance due to one factor brought about acceptance in another area. The factors contributing to steel band greater acceptance including the following: acceptance by several influential citizens, including writers, intellectuals, lawyers, musicians, and politicians. Government concerned expressed in a committee report and the formation of a steel band association. Commercial sponsorship, and Dr. Eric Williams was very vibrant in getting all those foreign companies to sponsor steel band. Hence, we have BP Renegades to this day. Successful exportation to an enthusiastic reception of steel band in foreign countries. We had them traveling all over the world, going to England and stuff playing. Open support from the People's National Movement political party. You hear that again? Let me read it over. This is social change and acceptance of the steel pan. Some of the factors that contributed to where pan reached and how pan became accepted, and respectable. Hear it again. Open support from the People's National Movement political party. Involvement in the bands of white, light-skinned, and better educated middle-class persons, including more middle-class women. Refinement of the instrument, the playing of semi-classical and classical music. Involvement of steel band in music festivals, in churches, at funerals, and at middle and upper-class social gatherings. A resurgence of the Black Power and pride in the early 1970s. So when people say that the People's National Movement never did anything for the steel band, since back in the day, this person who wrote this with his PhD, he said that one of the factors contributing to the acceptance of the steel band is the open support of the People's National Movement political party. And what will bear him true to that is this. I'll play it again just to tie everything together. So when they ask you what the PNM ever do for steel pan, you'll be able to tell them.
To assist steel bandsmen to identify the special nature of the business relationships which should characterize the steel band as an artistic, commercial, and industrial enterprise. To impart to steel bandsmen the basic principles governing business organization and practice, and to develop in steel bandsmen an awareness of the role of law and legal sanctions in commercial and industrial activity, with special reference to contracts, agreements, and contractual obligations.
On behalf of the staff of the Personnel Department, I extend a sincere welcome to you all to this brief but significant formal ceremony for the launching of an introductory course in business administration for members of the steel band movement. Without in any way wishing to be invidious, may I, on behalf of the staff of the Central Training Unit of the Personnel Department, specially welcome you, Mr. Prime Minister, and the members of the steel band movement to this center, each for different reasons, of course. This training center, situated in the scenic environment of the historic Northwestern Peninsula, was opened by you, Mr. Prime Minister, according to the records of my department, on May 20th, 1968.
I'm very glad that Mr. Cupid has indicated to the members of the steel band movement the scope, objectives, and operations of the Central Training Unit. I think Mr. Augustus of the Steel Band Association and his colleagues will now understand why it was that I insisted, when we were discussing the question of implementing this principal resolution of the Steel Band consultation, this resolution that comes from the steel band movement itself about the course of training, and I insisted that it should be done here at the Central Training Unit. And that we must stop this idea into which a lot of people outside of the training unit are drifting. That the training facilities and requirements of one group of people are something, and for another group of people it's something else, and that is reflected in different locations. At all levels you have lack of training, inefficiency in management. The requirements are the same, even though the jobs might be different. And above all, the mentality with which the different groups approach the question is the same. So we bring you up here, and if it's too hard for you, it shows you how far you have to go up. Is that clear? You come down here where everybody else comes. And I do hope, Mr. Augustus, that after all the noise you made about this course, we'll have a dedication from the steel band movement in respect of this training course, such as we associate with their sessions of music when they train for carnival. You can have dedication in one field and then something else. If we could only get, as I've said repeatedly, the sort of attitude that the population as a whole has to the entire carnival celebration, if we could have that throughout the year, Trinidad would be and Tobago would be the richest country in the world. There's your chance.
All right. So you see how the People's National Movement as a political party and as a government has always supported the steel band movement. And you saw what I read from the doctor there and then played this. And you see where PAN has reached and continue to go. We have young people reading music, composing for the bands now, young arrangers who are reading music, they go in and, so it has gone so far. It have, I think, Superior Delton, if I'm not mistaken, they have more than just a PAN side for the youths. They have the big side, they do business, they do agriculture and stuff like that. So the PAN has reached, the UNC has never done anything for PAN, neither has the NAR done anything for PAN. Mr. Pan, they gave them the piece of land up in Tagarigo there, but it wasn't a deal with their name on it because they couldn't do nothing with it. Because if that land was there, they could have used that land as collateral to build. The land wasn't their own. It was just their name. Nothing never happened. When the woman comes, it's always the woman to come and start a thing, you know. When Miss Beverly Ramsey Moore came, she would have, I think she's a beautiful negotiator. You see how she says she negotiated with the Minister of Tourism to get increases in salaries and reimbursement and contributions, I mean, for the PAN fraternity, for Panorama. And she would have negotiated and would have, with her team, of course, made the decision to swap the land from up in Tagariga that are doing nothing and is not their own anyway, to have a prime property right in Port of Spain, the business sector where Hyatt is, where the port is, where all the businesses are around, and have a new headquarters for PAN Trinbago where they will have PAN Theatre, PAN Museum, other businesses renting from them, so actually making money. So that is where PAN has reached, and it all started with the assistance and help and support of the People's National Movement. So I needed to tie those things together. It's important. Because if they had the way, some of them, it would have been the TASA being the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago. And they know that. So nobody will come to about what we're talking about. Well, they know that. They would have done that because they was fighting with tooth and nail. Some of them trying to say the PAN is not indigenous because the PAN didn't come, we didn't make the PAN here, not missing the whole point that we invented something with the PAN. But the TASA came here, nobody invented anything with TASA. TASA already came as TASA because it came from Persia to India and straight here. Yeah. They just cut trees now, dye the goat skin, whatever, and just make back the same thing. What we did is take the steel pan, we had liquid in it, oil in it, and actually cut that pong it down, thing it down to form a song that we hear also. The material may have been foreign, but what was created from the material is ours. So I'm seeing that, where's this now? The promoters and them say no, but we suffer in it. Promoters are saying a rise in carnival events, but we poor and suffering. Let people stop putting that on all there. I was to pull up a man on radio for always calling and talking the poor, suffering, disadvantaged youths. And I had to pull him up because there are plenty of youths in this country who are doing well in music, in art, in sports, in business. Why you don't come on the radio and say those young positive youths be an example for the others who are struggling? But every time the poor, disadvantaged youths. Look how much young people doing business. Look how much young people in farming doing business, successful farming. Too many names to call in music, in politics, in business. We have doctors, lawyers, teachers coming right out of Lavantil and Beetham and Silots and all they coming from there. Look, I just tell all the Beetham have a pharmacy. The only way you could have a pharmacy is if the person is trained in medicine. And the person running there is from Beetham. Come on, man. We have financial people come out in being financial experts and all that from right in Beetham, Lavantil, move and all that. So always calling every time, calling from New Jersey, never pay a tax down here any life. Always coming, the poor, disadvantaged. I just have to tell them, go and study the poor, disadvantaged youth and them in New Jersey, help them because they live in. The youths and them down here who doing the right young person will be a shining example to the others and pull them up. So, promoters note rise in carnival events, expect almost 400 feds. And this was yesterday in The Guardian. It says, the Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association says there are more feds taking place this year than last year, adding that this is a sign the state of emergency is not affecting carnival events and has not impacted foreign interests. In fact, the association says there will be between 300 to 400 feds for Carnival 2025. Addressing the impact of the SOE on the festival at the launch of its global stakeholders engagement plan yesterday at Queen's Hall, St. Anne's, the whole article job. The TTPA, that is the Trinidad and Tobago Promoters Association, advocate Paige de Leon said they continue to prioritize safety and security in their events because failing to do so could cause serious damage to their brand. We are not obtuse to the fact that there is a perception that Trinidad and Tobago is an unsafe place. We all live here, we know what the realities are, but we do have to continue to live our lives and continue to live our lives and continue doing what we do and need to do. Because as the authorities would have indicated, the economic activities of this country cannot hold, Leon said. Her comments were echoed by TTPA President Robert Thompson, who said from their standpoint, the industry was in a good place and it's really business as normal. Speaking at the Tobago Security Council stakeholders meeting last week, THO Tourism Secretary Tasha Boris and said Tobago was facing some negative reaction to the SOE, but officials were still calculating the actual fallout because it is not a good representative. Tasha, the time you take to call we unwashed and unclean and uncircumcised, you should be studying your business. But there's a neophyte that put you there. How you reach there? Because I understand you was just a counselor or some kind of thing. How you reach there to be running any antiquities department? There's a failure. Because I feel like because the same circumstances that plague in Trinidad and Tobago, or Trinidad, is the same issues that are plaguing Tobago. And the same SOE that we have in Trinidad and Tobago, in Trinidad, the same SOE there, and how we organize ourselves, because there's a failure, or there's failures in Tobago, boy. How Tobago getting problems because of the SOE? It has a restriction on movement. Because we're not communicating properly with the stakeholders in tourism so that they understand what is the SOE. Well, there's failures, I'm saying it again, failures. But the TTPA insisted that it is not being reflected in Trinidad for Carnival. You see? De Leon estimated that there will be between 300 to 400 events throughout the season, which ends at midnight the 4th. She said the range represented a possible increase in events when compared to last year. The TTPA also launched the Global Carnival Alliance, GCA, a carnival think tank think tank, the association will build upon existing alliances within the Caribbean Carnival and create networks that would make it easier for Carnival business to gain work in international market. The alliance is meant to create some kind of framework for how Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean owns and brands the commodity, Leon said. The other thing is that the network of practitioners in Trinidad and Tobago and beyond, and if we want to see our local businesses grow and become global brands, they have to have a place through which they can do it. She said these partnerships can counteract the realities of dwindling resources within the Caribbean by helping more stakeholders develop into global businesses that function outside the local industries as well. The TTPA said it is engaging in a mixture of promotion and direct outreach to invite partners into the GCA. What they're doing in Tobago, not one shit. More than dress up and fly all over the blasted place every minute. So people, this is, hi Donna, hi Josie, hi Patsy, hi Constance, hi Beverly. This is again showing what the government has been doing. Somebody today on Facebook kind of challenged me the things and tell me what the government do. Well, I send her a lot of stuff the government do, so I don't know what she'll send back to tell me. She might say a lie. So, you know, when I get them the truth, and the mind don't chain up to think negative. You know what that is, go right? So, we're looking for, right. I'll give me a minute. Right. I'm showing, may I have played it before, I'm showing you again what the government has been doing.
This is the problem I was going through. Cameraman, plenty leaks. Only the roof 16 years now, and this one was going through. And me and my girlfriend and my son live inside here. Have trust in God then. It was rough. It was real tough. Plenty leaks and all kind of insects biting my son, and I didn't bite too, and we just still go. So we couldn't really do nothing, just the little jobs. I was trying to beat ends. And when we get the money to save the bill house, we can't do nothing, just go in and food. The man gets sick, we had to jump for the money, and so it was going over them again. So I thank God for land settlement, keep on helping poor people, and I appreciate everything from all of it. Everything.
What has been doing to help poor people? The poor people always talking about and dragging down poor people as if poor people is a crime or you should be ashamed of it. The poor people, and not that they wanted to feel because your education, that's something wrong with you. Say must because I'm trying to tell you, education is nothing. Though you have to study. So when you have a little education now, the first thing jumping out is because you educated and come now man, let me be real now. It have formal education, it have informal education. Me brighter than nobody. There are things that some people don't know nothing about, and I just learn. That's why I do. I was ask questions and do research because I don't know everything. And I'm proud to be educated. If they say educated, I try to be educated. But I'm not one of those who educated and stupid. Yeah? I just use the theory and the practical to do what I have to do. So don't let them make you feel poverty is being poor. Let me say poverty. Being poor is something to be ashamed about because circumstances create certain things and you can move out of being poor to the next level, right? Education is the same thing. It is an opportunity when you have education to be able to go and do another level. Because if you can't read and write properly, you are basically shut out from the world and all opportunities. And you'll just be chained up to think what other people tell you, because then you have no concepts of your own. But once you can read and you can write, the opportunities are there for you to go forward or stay where you at. But don't vex with nobody if somebody would have gotten some type of formal education. Whether you get primary up to primary school, whether you get up to secondary school, whether you get tertiary education, you know what, you get education, right? And you can do what you need to do with what you get. Most important, you can read and write, so you could pull a book and read, you could understand face up, there's a dictionary. If you see words you don't know, learn words there. So you could do a lot of things to bring up yourself. You don't have to have no degree from no university or even go for no tertiary education, right? The foundation is you must be able to read and write. Once you have that on, you're good to go. So I wanted to listen to this because they're saying again, there's no opportunities for young people. And people are buying that, some people are buying that lock, stock, and barrel. So let me find it here. Oh gosh, right, let me hope it open on the right thing. This TikTok thing does.
The cost to replace the depiction of Columbus's ships on Trinidad and Tobago's coat of arms.
No, it's not that I'm looking for. What is this? We're not talking about no coat of arms. Okay, let me try it again. Yeah. I'm gonna try it directly from here and see. Why are you coming up? Well, give me a minute. Let me see if I get from my next place. If I can't get it, I will just move on to something else. I don't have that time. Okay, let me see if I get it here. Same, you know. I'm gonna try one more time. All different videos come on, TikTok's coming up instead. Okay, so like I'm not nope. I can't get it open, so I'm not gonna waste time on that. It wasn't gonna be wasting time, but can't get it open. So yesterday, some activities took place, I think somewhere in the Caribbean, based on some launch of some rocketing. And I want to know if this is all simply about two men trying to see who piggy bigger than who. I don't know. Because it have a world at large that could suffer the impact of two rich men trying to see who piggy bigger, you know. Like them have money and they know what to do. Why they go and look for cure for cancer and look for cure for poverty and all them kind of thing? So this was January 17th, CNC3 News, TNT regional flights impacted by SpaceX rocket explosion. Several local and regional flights heading to North America destinations last night were forced to return to their port of origin as fallen debris from an exploded SpaceX spaceship forced the closure of airspaces. Video of the debris was captured by onlookers in the Dominican Republic and other northern Caribbean countries, creating a spectacular sight at the skies night. A Frontier airline flight, which took off from the Piaco International Airport just before 7 p.m., returned to Trinidad after reaching as far as St. Lucia as the San Juan, Puerto Rico airspace was closed. Caribbean Airline flight BW550, destined for JFK, New York, was also forced to return to Port of Spain just before it reached Puerto Rico. Another Caribbean Airline flight from Georgetown, Guyana to JFK, BW526, had just passed Grenada before it was turned around. The aircraft spent hours circling the skies of southern Trinidad, burning fuel before it was allowed to land at the Piaco International Airport in keeping with Federation Aviation Authority landing restriction. Other affected regional flights included JetBlue B6350 and from Grenada to JFK, which was also forced to circle several times west of Martinique before it was allowed to land in Grenada again, and American Airlines AA2694 from Georgetown to JFK. SpaceX launched the rocket from Boca Chica, South Texas on Thursday around 4:40 p.m. local time. The flight was the seventh test of the newly upgraded Starship, which was due to make a controlled splashdown in the Indian Ocean about an hour after launch. However, The company said it lost contact about 8 and 5 minutes into the flight, with the last data indicating an altitude of 90 miles and a velocity of 13,245 mph. The FAA often closes airspaces for space mission and can create a debris response area to protect aircraft if a rocket has a problem outside of the original closed zone. Affected flights were allowed to take off 2 hours later for their destination. That is what all they vote for in America, boy. Yeah? Suppose that thing that come down the whole thing that come down on land and thing, or they hit a plane in the air and all that, boy. Or they don't care about in the Caribbean at all. Look at flight at a turn around and remember they have fuel to reach where they're going. If them circling, they're wasting fuel that they didn't have any, they have fuel to reach so how much hours it is. And if you deviate it, that something happening, they must be circling, fuel going there. So all the two with all the money, all the rich, all this God, yeah, to see who could launch them on and who can launch them on, and look at the impact I took from that. All airspace had to close in Caribbean and plane had to come back. But so that was some international news. And people stand up like, oh my God, it's all they understand the impact and oh my God, it's lovely. The stars ain't good enough to watch again. Let me continue. So I'm saying LMCS and Paria. Hi, Valerie. This was January 17th, 2025, CNC News. Paria LMCS officials to choose how OSHA charges later. 3 officials of Paria Fuel Trading Company Limited and Land and Marine Contracted Services Limited, LMCS, and the companies have been, and the companies have been given over 3 months to decide how they want 15 charges under the Occupational Health and Safety Act related to an accident in 2022, which claimed the lives of 4 LMCS divers determined. During a hearing before Senior Magistrate Alicia Chanka yesterday, lawyers for the parties had no objection to the charges being heard together but opposed the joining of the separate cases. Lawyers admitted that the Occupational Safety and Health Authority and agency, OSHA, has disclosed most of the evidence that would be used in prosecuting the case. They claim that based on the volume of evidence, they would need time to review it and to make a decision on how the case should be prosecuted. Before adjourning the case on May the 5th, Magistrate Chanka ordered that the disclosure be completed by February 28th. So I'm reading over this news, right? So this was, as I say again, this is news then, but they're telling you what would have happened back in May the 5th last year. OSHA was represented by Pamela Elder SC with Gilbert Peters SC, while paralegal team. OSHA was represented by Pamela Elder SC, while Gilbert Peterson SC led paralegal team. LMCS was represented by Dennis Ramboli. Last September, Paria's General Manager Mustaf Mohammed, its Terminal Operation Manager Colin Piper, LMCS Director Kazem Alios Sr., and the companies pleaded not guilty to charges as they made their second court appearance before Magistrate Chanka. Mohammed is facing 4 charges and is accused of facilitating a breach of the OSHA Act by failing to prepare an emergency plan based on a risk assessment and by failing to ensure workers, including the 4 deceased divers and their colleagues who survived, were not exposed to safety risks. The state-owned energy company is charged with 4 offenses for failing to ensure that the divers were not exposed to risk, for failing to implement an emergency plan based on risk assessment, for failing to revise the emergency plan through consultation with workers' representatives, and for failing to conduct an annual assessment for the potential risk of employees of the third-party contractors such as divers. Let me see what happened. Let me see what LMCS is charged with, because I see when they say LMCS and we're going to talk about Paria people. Right, Ali, right. Ali, whose son was amongst the deceased divers, is facing 3 charges for neglecting to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of his employees, for failing to perform annual risk assessment, and for neglecting to provide training, instruction, and supervision to ensure the safety of his workers. His company was charged with failing to perform a risk assessment, for failing to ensure his workers' safety, and failing to provide them with proper training so they do it over. Right? So we finally hear and see what's happening. And I've always said again, when you look at the divers, they were scuba divers. They didn't have only the gears for commercial divers, which are the umbilical cord and all that. And if scuba divers are not trained, if they encounter a Delta P situation, and because they have on the wrong gear, they are more likely to be involved in a tragic situation more than getting it done dealt with safely. However, there are other factors also that they were supposed to be this and that, and we heard it also. You'll see how that goes. So when there was anybody in Paria and the minister and the government that stopped the people from going to save them and all that, look closer to home, look at the gears those guys had on to go down in that type of thing, and to open a pipe that's sucking them. They didn't have only proper gear, nothing at all. The one who survived, thank God he survived. I wish others had survived. He was to the outside, more to the end, to the entrance, so he got able to get out there before he dragged him straight back down in that hole. Anywho, you see, when people neglecting health and safety standards because we've been doing it so all the time and nothing never happened, you see that foolishness? Well, let's stop it. Do the right thing one time. So let me continue. So people, hope, HOP, you know the man who was climb over, like Karen Nunes, you sure how you chopping. Them climb over a little fencing trying to crash Mr. Pandey's funeral, God rest his soul. I don't know why he balls and them didn't get niche in some snack thing, then he whole pants rip and he whole draggy balls and then drop out for people to see. Yeah, big man like you. You was the president of the Senate, I think. And I think you act as president or something, so you go on climbing over. Well, your pants should have rip and your old draggy balls should have drop out and everybody see and embarrass your backside. So let me see what you hoping for. Give me a minute, just a little piece I reading because I see them and the choppiness. Them lose all credibility to me. So what you saying here? Yes, thing that's happening in the cutting, and then after it was always, you doesn't know who in black and white, who should and who couldn't, all kind of woulda. I just always tell people when I give them advice in labor, do the right thing. It might sound tedious, but do it because the day something happened, everybody going to pull the book to show you. You should have known, look, the regulations say this and it. If they wanted to do something outside your scope and your job that you're not trained to do, let them put it in writing that them tell you to do it. So if anything happens to your backside, they could show the paper and you'll be compensated because you see them, they will say, I can't remember telling you to do that, but how come you went and do it? But you shouldn't do that. I told you that. No, you misunderstand. But if it's in black and white with the signature, you send me to go and lift up the dustbin, and I is a driver, and then lifting up the dustbin, I put a muscle in my back. Once you have that to show they send you, you will get something. So hope growing ahead for 2025 general election. This was 22 hours ago in the Guardian. And what I'm talking about is Timothy Hamel-Smith, the one who I say when they climbing over the fence with Karen Nunes to share a Clico Karen to go to storm Mr. Pandey, God rest his soul, funeral, which they didn't have to do. He punch should have rip and the old sagging white ball should have drop out. Let everybody see. So Hope political leader Timothy Hamel-Smith says the party is ramping up efforts to forge alliances ahead of the 2025 general election. Yesterday, Hamel-Smith told Guardian Media that he had been engaging with other parties and the leaders from other organizations at the aim of joining forces. Currently, Hope, the National Transformation Alliance, headed by Gary Griffith, the Congress of the People, now led by Prakash Ramadan, have already agreed to strategic alliance. People in Trinidad and Tobago won't change. They know that if we continue the same old way, we will continue into the court. Look now, use a chaos because I say it again, a big man like you, let Karen Nunes shall make you climb over a fence. So again, I say you blasted pants should have ripped. You should have skin up in the air and all the balls hanging all over. Let me see what I be saying now. Eh? Big ass like you. Come and look now. Rocks let all the triple ass party. All those make people to say them kind of thing about all because all they can't be serious as leaders in this country. But that's all I want. So this is Gary Griffith, Papa. Bacchanal, and more Bacchanal. All of this is Gary Griffith. I wonder if I should play this one. No. I go play this one. Let me play the updated one. He answering back. He answering back. Hey. He answering back. That big belly one who did pose with his pants sit down and he jockey shorts outside. Them is sick people, you know. You is a big lawyer. Wait till you zip your pants, pull up your jersey, and take a picture with all the crutch with an S on it and then jockey shorts. You see them sick? Keep that for yourself and then all over Facebook. Shit, man. This is the Gary Griffith.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Gary Griffith here. I would just like to take this opportunity to clarify something that was made on a platform by the UNC last night, I think it was, by the candidate whomST.
When white fowl having party, COVID party in Bayside Towers, he can't do nothing, like 1%. But when black and chicken and sealers, bathing by the side, by the beach, a whole crew of police gun to the head.
Now, people are free to say what they want, but what I will always do is to be honest and to clarify any lies or misinformation that is spread. Mr. Sage again went on the UNC path of stating that when Gary Griffith was Commissioner of Police, he didn't arrest persons in Bayside, but he decided to arrest the little black boys on a beach. It is interesting that the UNC continues to speak about their defense for Afro-Trinidadians when you have 19 seats and you need, but that's another story by itself. But again, it shows for whomST should be an attorney. It shows he's either unfit to be an attorney or he's a blatant liar. So to clarify for about the 27th time, during COVID, there were public health regulations, and with public health regulations, it meant that the only way the police could have intervened in any way to prevent persons converging would be in a public place, such as a beach, and you couldn't converge in an area with a place with 5 or more persons. If you have a private property, there's nothing that the police could have done because that was private property. Notice the words, it was public health regulations. So we know the UNC continues to go down the race card and try to use that as an avenue to try to win support. But for whomST should be an attorney, it means that he's clueless as an attorney because he didn't understand the law, or he's a blatant liar. So when they spend most of their time trying to attack Gary Griffith, and you notice the crowd just remains silent.
Like 1%. But when black and chicken and sealers.
Because they said, this is what you're trying to do. You want to get in government, and all you do is to attack and destroy and try to discredit people, even with lies. I give the assurance to Trinidad and Tobago that as a political leader of a party, we are open and intend to try to get into government to replace the sitting government democratically. But I intend to do so with a degree of professionalism and ethics. We are not going down the road of the gutter politics we have seen for far too long. We are going to focus on policies and show that we have the people, the policies, and the political will to transform Trinidad and Tobago. If you want to continue to spend your time attacking Gary Griffith and destroying people, that is their right. Let them do that and see where they would go. One thing I would give you the assurance is that one of the things that I will have is that I will not have any candidate who may be closely affiliated romantically in any form of fashion with gang leaders. I will not have candidates when I know in their past that they were given state contracts to gang leaders to build police stations. And I will not have candidates who are attorneys that spend all their time going out of their way to be able to get bail for gang leaders and criminals on murder, illegal weapons, and so forth. All of them made mistakes as well, and they would pay the price. That is what bail is. So when again going back to the point where people again foolishly try to give the assumption that when I was Commissioner of Police, I tried to assist my relative. How many of you all would have the ethics to bypass that and lead a raid, arrest someone, and have them charged, and then they get bail? Yes, they get bail. That has nothing to do with the police. The same bail that a present UNC MP is on and is out on the streets, the same bail that a previous Attorney General has before that young lady and is still out on the streets, but you're not asking about that. The hypocrisy is mind-boggling, but I give you assurance that I will continue to stay firm, stay pure, stay honest, and have a degree of ethics that this country would have never seen before in politics. Thanks. Enjoy your weekend, Trinidad and Tobago.
Papa.
No, that.
Papa, yo. Yeah? So the back and hey, what is Wilson looking stick and shooter? Oh God. And who the hell he talking about black-haired chicken? When all they talking about African people, no other blasted place, eh? Okay. No other place. And some African people too, don't allow people to be called no them kind of thing. What the hell? Let me continue. So earlier, Jolene John apparently, she's the next one, like she bleaching or something. And this wig, they get she that a way or what? Anyways, so she this is what she said in online forum.
And preach the gospel and say when the UNC wins, we all win. Everybody win. So if the coronation that they're planning for the new king, he cannot face the people of the PNM, right? They're doing everything, hiding him. He cannot face them. Now this concerns us because it's about our democracy. And this is the ruling party who have decided this fella must not face his own. They must hide him and they're ducking and they're running. UNC, you know who's standing in the gap? Who's standing between you and having Rowley, the second coming of Rowley? The UNC. And we must ensure that we win this next election. Because you know, on the 17th of March, they ambushed and murdered 5 men in our place for the street. A stone throw from Stuart's young office. He never went. I remember, he never went. Yeah, no, he ain't gonna wait. All right. I remember when I saw this news breaking on social media. I called.
Right? She's saying that Minister Stuart Young, the tragic and horrific killings that happened in her place, he never went. And she speak about the PNM hiding Minister Stuart Young. What shopping is them talking about? The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago announced that he is going to resign. Not immediately, then use immediately. There's another term used, meaning sometime, right? He said he's going to resign. There is the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago that says this is the process, how you treat with issues like that. And to come to think of it, when Dr. Eric Eustace William died, was George Chambers, rest his soul, was he the political leader of the PNM? No, he was not. Wasn't he made the Prime Minister of the PNM first? Yes, he was. Okay, right. So it continues. So she's saying they hiding, Rowley hiding Stuart from the PNM, the people from the PNM. How come he's hiding? So he's not the chairman of the People's National Movement. Wasn't there a general council meeting Saturday gone where he was there? And the 190-something people who were there, did they see him? They did not make an agree. They did not agree that he would lead the People's National Movement into the 2025 general election because Dr. Rowley used this section of the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago that gave him the right and the authority to do how we do it. It is the caucus of the members of parliament who speak on behalf of the citizens. So when we go to vote, we don't vote for a prime minister, we vote for members of parliament to represent us. So it's not the people that pick a prime minister. That is done with members of parliament. And if the government of the day is the People's National Movement, and they have the majority of members of parliament and the prime minister who is a PNM person who is in office now and he is resigning, then he has to caucus with the members of parliament who in office, not in opposition. And they don't say he had to caucus in the parliament. They didn't say he had to caucus by Hawk and Spit. They didn't say he had to caucus on Frederick Street. It could caucus anywhere, and they caucused in a retreat in Tobago, and a vote was had. There were 2 persons, and 1 person won, 11 to 9 votes. There was a concern by the membership of the PNM about that, and there was a general council that represented constituencies, party groups, and all that. So they are representing, and they were spoken to, they whatever understood, and they came out from that a unanimous decision. Of course, there are people will still be disappointed because disappointment is a feeling. But at the end of the day, you understand that the team is the team. It's not about you. So Minister Siochong is going to lead the PNM into the 2025 election. When it comes to the political lead, and I already told you in Mr. George Chambers' case, he was not the political leader of the People's National Movement when he was made the Prime Minister of the country when Dr. Williams died in office. So there's a precedent there already if they didn't want to know that, right? So there's nothing that says that Minister Siochong must be the political leader in order to take us into the election and also be the one who is given the position as Prime Minister to take us there. There's nothing that says that. There's nothing that says that. The post of political leader is not vacant, and the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago does not treat that party issue. That is a party issue, and the Constitution of the PNM will deal with the political leader, and there is no vacancy for the political leader until next year. Because before, it used to be every 3 years internal election for those positions, and they didn't want an election to be bouncing up an internal election, so they made that post of political leader by chairman, secretary, probably general secretary, and some of the higher positions in the executive to be every 4 years. So it don't clash with a general election, but the other post is every 2 years. Yeah. So I don't understand the continuous foolish thing with Julian John about they hiding him. There's nothing to hide. Everybody know who he is, and he was seen in the General Council election. She also said in General Council meeting, she also said that in the shooting at her place, that he was not there, and it's a stone throw away from his office. A stone throw away from his office is true. He was not there, it's true. But does Julian John know when that would have taken place, that Minister Siochong was in Houston from the 17th to the 23rd. So how could he have been there to go and give support when he was not in the country? What was he supposed to do? Take the first flight back from the business that he went to do for all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and come back to Trinidad to treat with his constituents? It was a horrific time, of course, but he was not there. And there were things in place that will treat with it until he gets back. So when they're talking and you know the red herrings and the gaslighting, all they understand. Minister Siochong, from what I did research, was not in the country between the 17th to the 23rd. The incident happened on the 17th. He was not here. He was in Houston. So we continue. But Jolene John should worry herself about things like these. Now it is said it is Barry Paradat WhatsApp. I don't know. But you see that picture here, and he name, I don't know if it's hack or not, but I read it from the message. I'm not going to read nobody's name. So when I say nobody's name, I'm not going to read because it's Paradat, so I'm saying. So look at the text message here, right? So it says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Paradat. This is, and we met at the UNC Xmas dinner together with the owner of Contracted Services Limited. As per our conversation, you told us in the new year to reach out to you in order to set up a meeting with Mrs. Prasad Bisesa. Can we schedule the same?" The message response was, "Your message is noted. However, there is a donation of 20,000 and we can schedule the meeting." Whoever it is respond, "Okay, cash?" Person respond, "Sure. I will collect and schedule the date and time of the meeting." Person responded, "Okay, no problem, keep in touch." Again, I'm saying, This is what they have circulating on Facebook. It has Barry Paradat and a picture of him. I don't know if they have the minister account. I hope somebody had the man account and they had this out here, because that is something good. And those are the things Julie Jones must be busying herself about. Let me continue. Selwyn Kojo. I want to tell Selwyn Kojo. Me going to read the fact that he put up. He always, all of them is for the African people know that Minister Stuart Young, the Chinese Indian gentleman, a citizen of this country, has been put as the Prime Minister of this country to take the PNM into election. All of a sudden, they're concerned about the African people in the PNM and the African people not getting a choice, and they're so well qualified and they're not getting a choice. He wants to talk about African people and the African people, and all of them talking about African people now, before they're cussing the same African people. So I want to ask Mr. Selwyn Kojo, because you're soul of the African people. I want to ask you this, Selwyn Kojo. Anybody who knows Selwyn Kojo, tell him to lock on Jennifer Frederick. Let me talk the thing. I want to ask him a question. I want to ask him if in the early 2000s, when Botorari was the principal at St. Augustine campus, if you went as a particular person to complain about the fact that children with non-African name, with non-Indian names, or names that denoted that they were of African descent, were being admitted, were not, let me read it again, I want to read it again. Mr. Kojo, I want to ask you, if in the early 2000s, when Botorari was the principal of St. Augustine campus, did you go to some certain people to complain to them that none of the children with names that denoted that they were of African descent were being admitted to the medical school at Mount Hope, no matter how good the grades were? And on speaking, the person you speak to went and speak to the boss. And the boss asked the person to contact you, Selwyn Kojo, and let them know how much the research will cost to be done to give us proof of those allegations. And I understand since in the 2000s, they're still waiting for that response from you. And in the meantime, what was happening? Our youngsters were being sent to the medical school in Grenada. But you know who came out and talked and had evidence? God rest his soul. Dr. Courtney Bartholomew, I think it was, because some of his students who were bright, worked with him, were not able to get in the medical school. And when they told him, he investigated and he made a big stink about it. And that is how things start to change. But you, Selwyn Kojo, who so love African people, you do African studies and Pan-African studies and all that, you saw a problem, you told the relevant people, they told you here what's going on. We can't go with allegations, so we want you to do a research on it to get the information and evidence so we could take it to the next level. How much it will cost? You'll never get back to them to this day. So Selwyn Kojo, take toilet paper and wipe somebody ARSE. You ain't worth SHIT. Oh, let's stay with me. You know what let's do it. Jenny Nani face Kunjuli man like a match after. Go, let us look now. Ask Kunji if he's the man who was selling corn soup in town when he put follow and see woman panty in it. Ask him for me now, please. Ask him again, hear the question. Ask him if he's the man who was selling corn soup in town. And when something happened, the whole pot of corn soup follow and see woman panty in it. So, Israel Khan SC, this is what he said about Minister Stuart Young. So, Mr. Israel Khan SC, this is what he said about Minister Stuart Young. Oh, Coach, oh Lord Father, it's a good thing I said ask, you know. You see, let's put me lele. It's a good thing I just cover myself and I tell you to ask Kunji. Now you tell me Kunji is a misspelling. I don't know that I asking Ms. Donna. I asking a question, Papa. I have court close, but me I have court money. Me a lawyer money. So this was Sunday, the 16th of June 2024, when Minister Stuart Young got his silk. This is what Senior Counsel Israel Khan had to say. This was in the Newsday. A prominent senior counsel believes there's an urgent need to revisit the process by which silk was awarded. Israel Khan said on June the 15th, the Prime Minister, the executive part of the government, should not be recommending silk to the President. The supposedly Chief Justice members or association should form a committee and do something, he told me, say, and and he talked, and all the talk. Let me get to the area I want to. Right. Khan, who is the head of the Criminal Bar Association, said he has not seen the official list but believes Young is a good choice. Young deserves, and that is Minister Stuart Young SC. Young deserves still because of his work in the construction industry. When they had the off commission, he appeared there and quietly he has been doing work. The off commission inquiry which was held more than a decade ago, probed corruption. He deserved it because of his work, his ethics, and that, right? This is what he said about all you stay with me, them and their foolishness. They want to hear the truth. This is what Israel can say about Kamala Persad-Bissessar, only still supporting she, me and them, Papa. This was in the Newsday, Wednesday, July 2022. The opposition leader, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, has come under heavy fire from the most senior attorneys in criminal practice, Israel Khan SC. In a letter in which he minced no words, Khan said Persad-Bissessar's baseless attack on the integrity of the members of the inner bar, those who have attained senior counsel, was obscene. At a UNC virtual meeting Monday, opposition leader accused some lawyers of groveling to support Attorney General Reginald Amon at the last Friday's vote of a motion of no confidence in him as AG of the Law Association because of the bungling of blah. So this is what Israel can say. Because everybody know what that whole debacle. So in his letter, Khan said Persad-Bissessar, who is also a senior counsel, has no shame and was not a leader of the inner bar. He said she is not a member of the, he said he was not a member of the UNC, but supported the party and recognized Persad-Bissessar as the leader. I accept and know that you are an extremely strong woman and astute column, blah. But he said he did not recognize her as a leader of the inner bar, neither civil nor criminal, and as a leader of the criminal bar. He does not accept or recognize her as an attorney deserving the status of senior counsel. He questioned her receiving the honor of silk, asking for particulars of her practice as an attorney. Khan further told her, you are an experienced politician and politics has a morality of its own. And in your quest to undermine and thus destroy the credibility of your opponent, Dr. Keith Rowley, you are attacking the merit, ability, and integrity of his chosen attorney. Reginald Amor SC, a man of impeccable integrity. But you did not stop there. You have gone beyond the attacks of the politician and now have descended in the arena of the legal profession to attack the members of the inner bar who supported the Attorney General in a recent no confidence motion. Khan said it was incumbent on him to put she in she place. He took issue with her describing senior counsel as CPAP and European lawyers who sang for the supper. And naming those of the opposition leaders singled out in a speech on Monday, one of them was former Attorney General Russell Martino Sr. He said, SC, he possessed the merit, ability, and integrity of an honorable member of the inner bar, yet you make a wicked, vicious, vulgar, and immoral attack on his impeccable integrity without blinking an eye. You stated that you are the utmost respect for him. What an oxymoron. Khan told Kamala Persad-Bissessar was in no position to criticize any senior counsel, even if they supported Amon on Friday and called for her to return The instrument of senior counsel to the president. I go on with that one. Yeah? So Israel can support its senior counsel. But here he tell Kamala, give me back this silk, we don't recognize you. These are politicians, we don't recognize you in the Inaba, but they recognize Minister Stuart Young, SC. So let me continue. So the steel pan movement, I do that already. That is when I told you and link it to the People's National Movement and all that, right? So who is the real Stuart Young? That is the talk now, you know. Who is the real Stuart Young? So let me just give only a little thing. I tried that. I had that around. So this was in the Express. Hey, Margaret, not me, you know. I know nothing about that. Me about that. If you look, put me back now to say what? Country, soup, pink, panties, plantain, potatoes, and peas. That was what he had in this. Oh God, oh. Yes, sweetness. Who is the research? Young, this was like Freddie Ferrer, the 15th of January 2025. This was in the Express. So it says here, if you want to know a man's character, give him power. That's Abraham Lincoln. So he's quoting there. He said, I am fortunate at 92 plus to see the emergence of our 8th Prime Minister, although still in waiting. Mr. Stuart Young has had the unprecedented privilege of obtaining the support of his parliamentary colleagues, including his party. He was shepherded, groomed, and promoted by the Prime Minister and still political leader of the party, unprecedented in our party history. In our 63-year-old history of independence, none of our previous Prime Ministers have been so fortunate. Time will tell whether this is for better or for worse. That Stuart Young, with less than 10 years of parliamentary experience, will be our next Prime Minister. And he started to quote Eric Williams of 1956 to 1962. He said George Chambers, 1966 to 1981. Patrick Manning, 1971 to 1991. Basil Pando, 1981 to 1995. Wasabi Sessa, 1986 to 2010. Keith Rowley, that's how he has it. It's Dr. Keith Rowley, 1986 to 2015. None of the above mentioned were groomed and promoted by any of our former prime ministers. We anxiously wait to know the real Stuart Young, the prime minister in waiting, our first prime minister of non-African or non-Indian descent, without any allegations of tribal baggage. He will also be the first prime minister to succeed a prime minister who has voluntarily resigned, but who is the leader of the party and the country. All this is unprecedented to us. Our new prime minister in waiting was vigorously promoted, sometimes under questionable and controversial circumstances, characterized by his promoters' determination to ensure his success. This leaves us with even less knowledge of who is the real Stuart Young. After all, there was no campaign or open contest for the vacancy. In this relatively short political career, he has had his fair share of political mishaps for which he has been apprehended and for which he has apologized. Well, let's talk about this army thing. Really? Woman who and woman, what does that do? That's not the local parlance that is used, right? Woman and woman, and man. What is the local parlance that is used? And woman and man, what is the local parlance? Not brush and all them kind of other things than wait really. I just felt, honestly, that the Speaker of the House had no disrespect to her, Ms. British and Mr. George. She was over the top in the reprimanding of Minister Stuart Young. Really, really over the top. Really. I've heard worse things in the parliament and she was never getting on like that. But we will talk about that another day. Mr. Young, SC, by now should be fully aware of the performance and history of his predecessors, their successes, failures, and the legacies they have left. As previously stated, he came in without allegations of racial baggage, which were attached to his predecessors. Hopefully, his sponsor and promoter has not left him in an election year with an overburdened load, which he may be incapable of carrying. While crime is still a serious problem, the economy is in a fairly good shape and the country is relatively stable. His mentor and sponsor is still around and available, unlike no previous prime minister, to assist him in navigating the turbulent waters that await him. Chambers was not so fortunate when the SS Balize ran aground in 1986, and the old captain was history. As a party member, a patriot, a supreme optimist, and experienced political activist, I would not be so absurd as to tell the Prime Minister what to do or how to do it. I can only advise Mr. Young of the following, and these are the following that he's advising Minister Stuart Young SC, and this person is Mr. Freddie Freire, a stalwart of the PNM and activist historian and everything, right? Be your own man, one, set your own standards of morality and accountability. Be honest and sincere when providing the nation with information. Give the nation hope. We are now in a position to use the words of Abraham Lincoln to tell us and show us the true character of PM Stuart Young. Congratulations as we look forward to a safe and successful mooring of the SS Balize. Author Freddie Ferreira is a PNM Foundation member, right? So they want to know who Stuart Young is. So I'm going to tell you all something, and the person, I'll make sure I call them again to verify. So I'm saying it because it has been confirmed to me. And this was before, I don't know if I said it before, I may have, but we're talking about who is Minister Stuart Young. Before he was a member of parliament and all that, he was a lawyer doing his thing. Again, he was coming from Caranage with, and I hold on to that story and I'll tell you why. He was coming from Caranage and saw a gentleman in a wheelchair wheeling himself going somewhere, and he stopped and he put the man in his car, put the wheelchair, and of course the man was not, based on what happened after, the man was not smelling as he should smell. So, you know, probably he, whatever. And Stuart Young at the time dropped him wherever he wanted to go, put him back on his wheelchair, make sure he's okay and all that. And then when he gave the car to somebody to carry to wash, the car was really smelling. And when they asked him why the car smelled like that, he explained, okay, that is the reason why. And I held on to that story because when I see how Minister Stuart Young treats people, how he interacts with people, this big smile, this genuine warmth. Just walk up to you, call him, he walk up to you and start to talk. You tell yourself like, like he know me, like we know one another, because it's genuine talk, natural talk, not no he up there and you down there's that. And my pumpkins, anybody my pumpkins love, they're real. And anybody could show my pumpkins respect. You see Miss Juliette Davy, he does call she girlfriend. He have a name for everybody. So Juliette Davy is a girlfriend. When you see her, I'm a girlfriend. When she was on radio, he making sure he listen when I come. He said, look, my girlfriend on radio, you know. So he have a name for everybody. And once my pumpkins love you, you have something good in you. My pumpkins do just like people just so. He, Minister Stuart Young, is his. If you see Minister Stuart Young, he start to scream, not scream as in crying or anything, but oh God, look my boy. Oh God, and all kind of zinzy and dance and thing, and two of them hug up and spin one thing and camera click, 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 and I just be like, I just put myself aside and say, look, you know, get all the drama, no? And it is not a today thing since 2020, since 2015. And it has continued. Minister Young has always shown that appreciation and respect for my pumpkins, yeah? So he's that type of person, very people person, and it was said, I think his dad told me that he wanted to be a priest. Let me see if I could find that thing and read a little of him. I'm also seeing, this was from on his page, February 9th. It says Stuart Young again. There's a picture of him. I went on the page and he put up a picture. And on top of the picture, he said 48 years ago, so that will be last year. Oh yeah, 23, right. He said, I was born right here on Henry Street, Port of Spain. And he said, thanks to my parents, my family, and all of the many special people who have contributed to my life thus far. He thanked everybody who took time to send him birthday greetings. So it was his birthday at that time. So he was showing where he was born, and it was Henry Street, Port of Spain. He wasn't born in Westmoreland and West Shore and Park, and no private clinic, and all them back and on, right? So this is what, let me see if I can get this open. Because I want to know who is Stuart Young. want to know. So, yeah, it has said here, I got this from his dad. He's born 9th of February 1975, the son of Richard P. and Priscilla Nee Hossein Young, attended St. Monica's Preparatory School, getting a solid Catholic education, and then wrote the common entrance exam, securing a spot at St. Mary's College. He is a member of the 6th Trinidad Sea Scout and was a patrol leader. He was also an altar assistant under the watchful eyes of Father Tobias Valdez, who had impacted on him and had him considering entering the priesthood. He was in the business stream, securing first place in accounting at A levels. He was also a general merit awardee. He graduated in Shokokan Karate with a first degree black belt under the guidance of the late Brian Chin Yueng. He was a member of the Marlin Swim Club and swam competitively. He played club cricket at college and was a triathlete in his late teens, competing locally and internationally. And he entered Nottingham University, if I'm not mistaken, graduated with LLB honors, and was called to the bar of Great Inn in England and Wales. And he was also admitted to practice in the local courts as a graduate of Hugh Wooden Law School, and I think he can practice in 2 or 3 Caribbean islands, and I think probably in the UK or something like that. So that's just a little who is Minister Stuart Young, and anybody who interacts with him and come away from that and saying ill things about him is somebody who have a nasty, heavy spirit. You don't have to like him, but you'll walk away saying, yeah, he cool. I really I'm not paying him or nothing, but the man cool. If you walk away from that and you have a negative thing, it's because your spirit heavy, I telling you so. And it's not because I'm biased, it's because I'm being real. So this is Minister Stuart Young because he's really into the panel and supporting St. Margaret's. He don't play. But when Jolene John spoke about her place and he wasn't there to visit them and all that, and I said he was out the country, do you think if he did not show and extend his sentiments and everything to that community in her place when that tragic incident happened, do you think he would have been able to walk in her place? This is him.
You know that? That's why you first place I reach here. Right? Blessing, money, testimony. Go to follow you there go. This year, good news, giant, plenty money. Go to follow you there go. Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life. Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life. Even before you call, you don't answer.
You think he would be able to go into her place? That's in her place. You think he would be able to? So Jolene John and them that just talk and little ad-lib thing and don't have nothing, and everybody going, hey, oh God, yes, and he don't care about the people. I don't know. You think if he wasn't genuine, her place people that have been walking amongst them normal. And this was after the situation happened with the tragic shooting of the individuals there, when he wasn't even in the country. And she don't know if when he came back, if he would have immediately gone to treat and deal with his constituents. But they like to lie and gaslight people, but we wouldn't be fooled. So we have that here with the people. Look at me again. Because he always on the ground, you know. Happy place in my life, every living day. Happy place in my life, every living day. Happy place in my life, every living day. Every living day. I'm at a happy place in my life, and it can't change.
And I just come here to do right. So when I lay on nights, I will never, ever change. I'm a everywhere I go. I'm a never, ever change. I'm a it's hey, I feel like Hulk. Rah! Watch it. You see what I mean, my couple? Yeah, we outside.
All that is in the constituency. That is in the constituency. Watch me again. You don't play.
So we just completed another walk, this time in Mount Uluru in St. Anne. I'm knocking about. I know many people walk. Water stabilize. Yeah, bro. Give a thank you for that, right? Take care. Being down on the ground, that's where you see the real issues. That's where you see what is affecting constituents, affecting our citizens. That is what helps to motivate me. That is what helps me push a little harder in a gas deal, push a little harder to get more revenue for Trinidad and Tobago. When I see our young children growing up, what it is their needs will be down the road. When you mix with the pensioners in the constituency, when you know that we have to get drugs into the hospital, we have to be able to turn on our lights. Those are the things that motivate me. You pick it up firsthand, interacting on the ground with constituents. Because it is going to be famous. That's the attitude. That we talk about. That is what representation is about for me. I've always taken this seriously. I love to walk in the constituency, and I much prefer spending my time on the ground, mixing with the constituents. And as I say, interacting with them. That is what representation is about. That is what this government and what I, Stuart Young, am about. Check it as I go down. Yeah, okay.
Right? Like him always moving with the people in his constituency. Don't stick. Look at me now.
We are councillor for Belmont Northwest for assisting us in this Christmas cleanup project that they have been doing for the past few years. This has saved us a lot of time and effort in terms of trying to outsource transportation, and we are and will always be grateful for this. We are very thankful to Minister Young and
that's in constituency, moving with the people. You don't stick. Watch him in St. Francois Girls. That's him hyping them up there. I think it was for the Panorama when he went up, because that is in his constituency also. In Belmont, August Boys and the Kong there. It said thank you to the Honorable Stuart Young, Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, for recognizing and rewarding the work of our SCA 2021 students. These boys may not be in the country's top 100, but they work well against all odds and did their school, their families, and their communities proud. Thank you again to you and your office and staff. This was from Belmont, St. Margaret's Boys, and the this is 2021. You know, they just know. Look at me here with a former strike squad player who has a football academy in St. Anne's. Morris. This is a captain of the strike squad, Clayton Morris, is given back to the community with the Clayton Morris Academy operating in St. Anne's. Minister Young said I was able to interact with the children yesterday as they went through their pieces. Right? This is how he does operate. You don't play. Look, some pictures I'm here. This is real thing. Look at me with all the Tunja. That is when St. Margaret boys win the last year. There was that for St. Margaret. Look at me with President Beverly Ramsey Moore. He don't stick where Pan is concerned. He out there long time. He on the ground. We on the ground with young. That's a serious talk. Look at me, I could hardly make him out always between the people, always. And you know, he had tall. So the crowd could really hide him and stuff. Right, that's with Belmont again. Always out there. They want to know who he is. That is what he does do. This is not no gimmick thing and no stand up for no picture. Actually pulling and pushing the pan with them. They just happen to take a still picture of him. That is what he does be doing on the ground. They want to know who he is. They want to know who he is. That the hype man for them watch him. And the children, once children love you. Once children love you, you know. We ain't taking that choppy talk with them, boy. We ain't taking that kind of choppy talk with them. So, they want to know who Minister Stuart Young is. I showing you. You just had the color and a different race language. He's a human being and you could be a child. And on the ground, you could grow. On the ground means to say you have to look like me, or you have to talk a particular way, or you have to be able to have no education. That's what on the ground means. So a person who have education, who have position, they can be on the ground with people and can walk amongst people without people having to say, oh, look at them, they're following the white man, and all, without saying that. How much families in this country, African family are Indian in it, has some light color in it, has some, we family mix up. And if your son go and get himself involved with a girl of Indian descent, we go run the girl? Well, you know, in the Indian community, some of them just do them thing, eh? Them ain't so accepting as we are. We know it does happen, but it has some Indian families, they love whoever the children bring. It has some of them that tell you straight. Don't bring and you know what they just tell you. But the point they're trying to make is this: we are mix up country, and Minister Stuart Young is a citizen of this country. He was born here, and he deserves, if he works hard, you don't have to have years and nothing. It has some people come on the scene and them working hard and they attract the eye of people who, let me get all of this joke again. There was interviews because I was doing it when I was doing psych at Open Campus. I think we had used this as in one of those classes. I can't remember if it was personality or whatever. But there was an interview. I can't remember which one, or if it was when I was at Cipriani. I can't remember which one. But there was having an interview, interviewing people. And, you know, you walk in and you say good morning, whatever, you sit and all that interview, all that, right? And there was a young lady who came in and there was a piece of paper on the ground. And before she sat down, she picked up the paper, put it in the bin, and then she sat down. And then they interviewed her and everything, and she had the qualification, like everybody else came with the qualification and all that. And here what one of the interviewers asked her, why did you pick up that paper when you came in? And she just simply said, because it was out of place. It's not, it wasn't supposed, you know, it's supposed to be in the bin. You know, based on that, she got the job above everybody else, because what they were looking for is somebody who does think critically, somebody will see something out of place and put it back in place. And it's not that the other people weren't qualified, you know, but just that little thing put her over the edge, because all of them come in and see the paper. Now the paper was put there deliberately. Eh? Everybody come in and did the interview and leave the paper on the ground. And she came in and picked it up and put it in the bin. So the point I'm making, you may have all the qualification, You may have the experience and all that, but there's sometimes somebody else just come. A simple thing, sometimes it might seem it is as simple, but sometimes it is not. And they just sit in the slot there and you see, well, how she get it or how we get it? And I did a long time. Why am this and I had that and how they it's the simple things. And sometimes for a job, they're looking for something. That's why now when you go to interviews, it's not just simply read a resume and that's it. They want to know about you, so they ask you questions that sometimes not even in line. I'll give all that joke before I move on. I am a best village adjudicator for folk dance. And when I applied and I was shortlisted to be interviewed, the interview was supposed to start at a certain hour. But one of the interviewers had some issues with transport and was coming from far. So because I know it was to be like from, I think my interview was 10 to probably half 10. So I didn't walk with sweater and all that. I dressed appropriately, but I didn't walk with a shawl or anything because I know I was not going to be there long. However, because of that, by 12 o'clock, I still sitting there. So the coldness started to seep through my top now, and I started to be shaking. And then 12 o'clock, so I started to feel hungry. And when I'm hungry, I am not the best person to have a conversation with because I'm irritable and all that. So by the time they called me up to be interviewed, it was like minutes to 1. So I'm cold and shaken and hungry. So when I went into the room, because when I'm hungry and stuff, I was like, oh my goodness, long I've been waiting. I'm so cold and I'm hungry. I thought, oh, they'd never call me. And I'm hearing myself and I'm like, Jennifer. But I can't help it because of the condition I'm under when I sat down. So they asked me questions about dance and I given them the physical thing with the dance. And if you check me, and I watch me in my mind, I said, you ain't going to get this. You ain't going to get this interview because you see, you just singing kind of whatever. And in my mind, I was like, oh my God, look how I never. And when the interviewer say, you sure talk a lot with that. I said, So I stay silent now. I said, oh my God, saying much. So I'm there. So they say, did you hear it? I said, yes. So they said, well, why not answer? And I was like, because he just said that I'm talking too much. So he said, no, I never said that. He said, what happened is that you go into nothing bad with that, whatever. But I walked away from there, met a friend and was telling her, started to cry. I was like, them people would never, ever, ever, ever. So when they did call me finally and say I got through, I started to laugh. I was like, really, on the show? But the point I'm making, because it's dance and dance editing, in that field, the way how I interviewed, if it was another type of interview, I would not have gotten through. But because it's a space with dance and it's arts and culture and drama and all that, me being interviewed and speaking the way I did and the movements and all that, it would have been acceptable. So the point I'm making, sometime when you think that is only simply alone about all the degree and this and that you have, sometimes it's something little extra that you do that somebody else may not have done, would have put it, right? So I hope you all understand the context in which I'm saying these things, because I bring it back to Minister Stuart Young with the constant thing that he has only come in the party just now, and it's other people that are more senior than him and all that. And it could be not that they were not doing something right, it could be that the fit that is needed for now, that probably they don't have it. And there's nothing as a criticism against them. They're working in the space that they have and have been doing it for a while, but sometimes it takes just a different look at stuff based on where you see the vision of the party going. We're in a new era. We're looking to get younger persons and we're looking to get a cross-section of persons. And Dr. Rowley may have felt that Minister Stuart Young has that capacity based on his work ethic or based, and again, I'm not knocking any other person who had aspiration to becoming the Prime Minister if Dr. Rowley was going to resign or whatever it is. I'm just saying, sometimes we tend to look at things in a very small, myopic way and not look at the outside. But when you have feelings, and expectations, like everybody else here, you do feel a how, but it's how you regroup from that. And I firmly believe that all members involved, all parties involved, will understand the bigger picture and work towards the bigger picture, and that is the People's National Movement joining forces, all forces, as one, and contesting the 2025 general election. All hands on deck to win convincingly, because Kareem Marcel and his family definitely does not want him to be in opposition his first time in the politics. Excuse me. All the other members of parliament, I'm quite certain, don't want to be in opposition, especially when all these gas deals and all these things come rolling in, that they'll be able to get that money and resources to help the constituents. I'm sure they will want to be there to be a part of that. They wouldn't want to be in opposition. I'm also seeing things heating up nicely down in the seat that Dr. Raleigh held for years, and there's Dr. Amy Brown, and I'm seeing Hans Devines, if that's his name. I think he's one of those young MCs, announcer, DJ, radio host kind of thing. So young people are coming out and wanting to serve, and it's good to see that they want to serve under the People's National Movement. Because when you look on the other side, people want the opposition to do well, you know. People want the opposition to do well because opposition holds a government accountable. They are the party, the political party in waiting. But when you have one like the UNC, or let's be real now, you don't have to like the PNM and Stuart Young and Camille Regis, Mrs. Camille Regis, or Mrs. Penelope, or Mr. Faris, MP Faris, and whatever, you don't have to. But when you match them up against the PNM members of parliament, you cannot seriously tell me that there's any competition. You cannot tell me that you would prefer them over the PNM. You cannot, because if you tell me that, then you're telling me you really do not love this country. You're telling me you're just concerned about party and race and about yourself. You're not concerned. And somebody asked me today, as I said, what it is the PNM did. And I have some time, let me just read some of the things in the 9 years the PNM did, because it may have missed some people, I don't know, or some people just not getting the information, right? And then I want to show you all a video, and I'm coming back to talk about if that is what is acceptable. And some more things than this would have done, right? So fiscal and social measures. This is what the PNM would have done. Personal allowance increased to 90,000. This means if you're earning less than $7,500, you don't pay income tax. VAT was decreased to 12.5% on all purchase. Grants to homeowners whose salary is under $6,000 to repair their homes. First-time homeowners pay no stamp duty for homes purchased below $1.5 million. $20,000 grant for entrepreneurs. $300 million allocated to FCB to provide low-income loans to small and medium businesses. Loans 100% guaranteed by government. Housing and Village Improvement Program, HVIP. You provide the land and the government will build low-cost houses through small contractors, and I show you where they build the starter home for the family, the man and his little child and wife in the house that was leaking, and he said, getting bite from insects and all that, he was able to get one of those starter homes amongst other persons. When you look at infrastructural project, you have the new Ministry of Health building, San Fernando Waterfront project, Napa repaired for $20 million as opposed to UNC proposal of $100 million. President House, $89 million as opposed to the UNC $169 million proposal. Swimming pools, that is being used now is oversubscribed. First, people are coming out to use it. Magnificent 7 buildings refurbished. Brian Lara Stadium was finished. Remember, we just had the World Cricket thing, I think, what do you call it? IPL or ICP. All I know what the thing is now. I'm a cricket person, but it happened there world class all over the world. It was shown renovation of the Red House, so they no longer the waterfront. The waterfront has been converted now to courtrooms. They're back. All Parliament is back up at the Red House. The UNC had it in a state of disrepair for years. 35 years they were there. The Arima Hospital at a cost of 200 million less than budgeted by the PP government, like Kamala and them. So the Arima Hospital is finished. 600 homes built for low-income families at a cost of 175,000. Diego Martin Health Facility, Diego Martin Sports Complex, Diego Martin Library, Rio Claro Library, the La Joqueta Library, Miaro Library to be completed, Carrage Police Station, 18 new community centers, and I told you about the Belmont and Cascade Community Center, that is in Minister Stuart Young's constituency. Reduced government annual rent bill by over 130 million with the commissioning of the government campuses. Kamala Visesa continued was to rent from the 1%, while the government campus was built there with all buildings ready to house the ministries. This government would have gone into them and reduced the rent money being paid to the 1%. Completed all housing project from the PP that they abandoned in 2010. Built 3 new licensing offices, the Carnage Fishing Depot and Carnage Fish Fry, Maracas Beach, Macquarie Beach upgrade. Invaders Bay continued development to include a variety of commercial and recreational facilities, plus a broadwalk to connect Port of Spain City Center. Diego Martin Administrative Complex, local app TT launched by the Ministry of Local Government to facilitate timely reporting and resolution of problems in transportation and roadwork. 4 boats between Trinidad and Tobago, 1 cargo ship, Tobago New Airport, that's finishing just now. Diego Martin Interchange, the Crep Interchange was completed at a cost of 221 million, but the UNC plan was to build it for 440 million. Phase 1 of the highway to Toko completed. I'm sure it has continued by now. Regional Ferry Services Alliance with Guyana and Barbados. Youth Development and Training. whomST program, we saw 150 young farmers given starter homes, $20,000 to start their farming, 2 acres of land. 1,000 entrepreneurs by 2025, they're on stream with that. Training program for youth in the manufacturing sector. Transition home for girls, 18 to 24, that is still under construction. Youth agricultural training and land grant to start. I spoke about that just now also. Restoration work on the Girls Apprenticeship Center, that is still ongoing. Presto is ongoing. 40 new courses for the youths, example, heavy duty equipment, forklift, crane operator, etc. While in training, one gets $500 weekly. In crime and criminality, 66 new courts at the Waterfront Judicial Complex, 34 new judges, abolition of preliminary inquiries, established virtual courts and eliminated millions of dollars prisoner transport. Remember, Amalgamated used to transport the prisoners from Golden Grove to Port of Spain to go to court, and this is the Syrian, the 1% getting all the money. Well, there's no longer that. Court is held in the prison itself, and court is also that would have taken care of that. Water, and I'm sure by now there are more still, so I'll upgrade this as I go along, right? So 24 new booster stations, 61% of the population accessing 24/7 water supply. People of Freeport, Granville, Lopino, Kwamina, Mount Diablo have improved water supplies at 2024. Build Maraba wastewater treatment plant. Remember, Kamala gave Mamu and them money to build the Beaton wastewater treatment plant. Never finished, yeah? You have 125 new wells dug. As I told you, in Minister Stuart Young constituency, there's a pump up on Lady Young that is giving people a Mackay water. CWIP Community Water Improvement Program. In energy, overall they are tired. I go read some more. Okay, I nearly finished. Renegotiated ownership stake in Atlantic LNG. We see we getting more money from that. Under the old structure, Shell and BP respectively owed 54% and 40% of trains 2, 3, and 4, while NGC has 11.1% of train 4, but no stake in trains 2 and 3. We have renegotiated that, so we have stake in everything. Now with the agreement, simplifies the project structure into ownership across all 4 trains, which effectively reduced Shell's stake to 45%. Shell's stake was how much before under this structure? Shell's stake before was 54%, it is now 45%. And it raises BP's stake to 45%. BP's stake was, oh, it was what? Oh, just give me time to rest. So, as I said, the agreement simplifies the project structure into ownership across all 4 trains, which effectively reduces Shell's stake to 45%, raises BP's stake to 45%, while NGC gets a 10% share. Before, NGC was getting less. Cross-border alliance with Venezuela to develop Dragon gas field, NGC multi-billion-dollar profits, Phoenix Park Industrial Estate facilitating local and foreign direct investment, Manatee project started, Mento platform completed, Oscilla TOPR Cassia extension project completed, employment opportunities created, and don't forget the Miaro, the Manzanilla Road that was totally impassable, washed away all that. It has been completed under the Minister of Works and Transport, Senator Ron Sinanan. Culture and Tourism Headquarters of Antrim Bago in the city of Port of Spain, the government has committed to helping build that. I told you about it. PAN is the official national instrument. We spoke about that, and now we are removing from the coat of arms the 3 ships and we're putting the PAN. New Hyatt hotels, 2 new Hyatt hotels, La Virgin Locote Empowerment, restoration work on the Lupino historical site. In the health, we have Point 14 Hospital finished, Tobago Hospital, Sandy Brandy finished, the new wing for Port of Spain, General, a state-of-the-art linear acceleration cancer treatment center. We have Arima Hospital finished. So those are some of the things that this government would have done with their tenure, and they haven't finished yet. Yes, what's that? One added to this, the Komoto to Grandi Highway is nearing completion. Yes, people post it up. Yes, ICC T20 World Cup that happened down at the Brian Lara Stadium, and that was due to the fact that this government would have finished it. Kamala and them had it there doing nothing, and it was a big joke. They say too much money to fix. Yeah? So again, when you look, I'm looking at the 2 parties. When you look in terms of culture, music, the art, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of development for the youth, in terms of people with their taxes, in terms of taxing, because Kamala and them was just taxing them foreign companies 18%, or the banks or something 80%. Dr. Rowley raised it to 30%. When you look at collecting taxes for this country, Kamala Pasabi says and they were not about collecting taxes. In fact, they would have had the companies and then drill for oil or whatever, and wherever they get, they could take until 2024. That was renegotiated as soon as this government came in. We saw the lackluster way they went about it. She come in some dirty water in her bottle and shake it up and boil the new oil and new gold, what, nothing happened. Kevin Ramnaran would have made some deal with the Japanese and them that we was owing them about $600 billion. And when this government came in, Minister Siotiong had to go to Japan to deal out that deal out. We declared because we might have had to go to the IMF because of the fact we came in 2015 and met a recession, and then we were hit with COVID-19. So if we had a $6 billion or so much billion to pay back the Japanese, and you know they want the money in TT dollars, we might have to go to the IMF. So Minister Siotiong and Dr. Keith Rowley would have done human service in making sure that things are set right, and with the support, of course, of the other ministers in the different ministries. So again, when you look at the UNC, the behavior, the member of parliament that they have, and then you look at the People's National Movement, you cannot seriously say that the UNC is the party to get back in. You cannot. And all them other small parties, we had to join together. What has happened to them? They just join together because the conversation always is to get the PNM out. They don't join together to say, this is what we're going to do when we get there and lay out the plans. No, they don't do that. They join together to put out the PNM. And when they get there, all of them have different ideology, ideas to do things, and quickly they fall apart. And who suffer at the end of the day? The people who vote for them and the society at large. Excuse me. So people know what all they're doing. These are serious times. This is not time. Yeah, the answer to the cliche. Yeah, that's a carol. And I will try to get more to update it because the list has to be updated. So you can imagine when it's updated, I would just have to post it. I wouldn't be able to read all that. So you could not. I'm talking to it today, because at the end of the day, if you don't talk to people and have a rational conversation with people, people will say, well, you didn't say nothing, you didn't tell me nothing and all that. So again, you could never look at the PNM and the UNC and say it's the same thing. They are not. One thing we know for sure, UNC is not. Well, in life they are changing, but I'll tell you, it is very unlikely that the UNC will ever put Julian John as the leader of that party to lead them into office, into election. That ain't happening. I want to ask because again, people, the PSA election is March the 10th, 2025. And since last year, I've been putting up one team and one team alone. That's just something I've been putting up all the time because I know one team is what it needs, a serious team to go in and fix PSA because PSA is a mess. And the one team is the United Team Sentinel. PSA United Sentinels. That is led by Common Nixon Kalinda. And he has a team of people who are experienced in the field of handling grievances and industrial relation issues. That's what you want because PSA is in a mess. And why Nixon Kalinda has that experience and ability? Because he has faced the industrial court. And unlike Oral Sanders, who trying to sully the man's name to talk about him working for Leroy Batista and them, that's why he representing somebody in industrial court. That's not the reason he ain't getting paid. The public officer who had the issue in the industrial court had no confidence that Leroy Batista or Felicia Thomas or any of them in the PSA could represent her properly for her to win her matter. She had more confidence in an ordinary public officer who is a PSA member who would have served in the PSA at the executive level since back in last time about 2013 or 14. She had more confidence in him because while he was not in PSA, he has been honing his skills. He has been working and doing negotiation for private companies successfully. And not only that, when he was the general secretary of the PSA, it was because of him when Duke sell us out for 5%. Or remember that? And then NUGFW get 9%. But it wasn't only because of NUGFW, PSA have a negotiating a bargaining unit, MIC. Because PSA has several bargaining units. MIC is one. Nixon Kalinda, as the general secretary of PSA, would have sat down with the management of MIC. And those workers would have gotten 9%. So you can't have one bargaining unit of PSA getting 9% and all the other bargaining units get 5%. So Watson Duke had no choice when he come back from his paid vacation to go and upgrade us to get the 9%. As Nixon Kalinda did that. So he's representing a PSA member right now in the industrial court. And the reason why he had to get permission from Leroy Batista is because nobody can just go and represent a PSA member. You have to inquire from the PSA and the executive if they will give you permission to do so. And they give him permission because Leroy Batista And Felicia Thomas know, them ain't no not murder case, them can't win no case because they never win no case. So he's there doing that. So he has the practical experience. Oral Sanders does not have it. Oral Sanders had a 4-month stint as the General Secretary in PSA. And when he couldn't get away, he walked away. But ask him which grievances he would have dealt with. Because when in his 4 months he was there, he was asked to prepare an industrial relation guide worksheet or something for the industrial relation officers to be guided by, so that they will know when they're going to do the work, how they go by. Ask him if he ever did it to this day. He's a man that just pick up his marbles and run, right? All he holding on to, he was the best recruiting officer, and it was a competition. So if it had to have a competition for you to do what is you're supposed to do, well, then you ain't doing it out. You ain't doing it out of no goodwill. You ain't doing it out of no thing. You had to get motivation and getting a gift and some prize to go some Caribbean island or something. So he always holding on. He always holding on to these things. Oh, he was the best recruiting officer, but it was a competition. Or when he was there, he exposed Juke on the credit card. He didn't tell Ole he too had a credit card. He didn't tell Ole that it is a common practice if you use the credit card and you buy panty for your wife and flowers for your wife and all kind of brands of choppiness, it will be garnished from your salary. That is only to be used for labor issues. So he ain't break nothing. But he won't tell us how we get the Prada or Prado, that way let's call it, women's British primers used to be driven in. He didn't tell you how we get to buy that because that was PSA vehicle. Ask him how we get to buy it. He will tell all of them things. But only, oh, he's this and he's that. I know Calendar character. Nixon Calendar was on suspension for about 10 or 11 years with an incident, some incidents that happened at PSA. We saw it all in the papers. For 10 years, he went through the courts. And all the evidence they bring, who say he stamped them and kicked them and they fall down and stamp them in the chest and do them this and all kind of thing, who neck and brace and all that. The medical did not support what they said. The evidence didn't support what they said. And based on that, after 10, 11 years in the courthouse, he won all his case. So he has been reinstated at his workplace. After 11 years, he get all the vacation he was to get and he get promotion and all that. So you will still talk about that and the man character. And that's what Oral Sanders holding on to right through. But the reason why I'm on him too, he dragged my character into it. I am not going up for no election. I'm not on no team. I don't say nothing about you. The most I say I'm not supporting you. You're going out there on Fearless Warrior program and linking my name basically that I don't have no integrity, no character, and something is wrong with me. And I keep asking you, I ask you some questions that you refuse to answer. And I'm asking you, you're going up with a team called United Public Officers, with a team, by the way, should have been, could have been, can't do nothing for nobody. And you're leading the team, but tell me about your character. You won't answer it. But you only talk about Kalina character. Kalina character could stand scrutiny, could yours Oral Sanders. Asking you again. Don't send no picture to show me who's supporting you and who's supporting. I'm not interested in who's supporting you. Because who is supporting you don't work in the public service. Who's supporting you must even living in Trinidad. I'm not interested in who's supporting you. I want you to come and let us know if your character could stand scrutiny. I want to say it could, well, I will say what I need to say. In the absence of that, one team alone, because your team ain't ready. And that team is led by Nixon Bennett Calendar, PSA United Sentinels. So when March the 10th reached, to the 10,000 or so public officers, if they're saying WASA had 2,000, well then it had about 9,000 public officers out there. 4,000 or only 5,000 only come out and vote resoundingly for one team and one team alone. That is PSA Team Sentinel. Like the only team could take the PSA out of the morass. That sounds like what Rodney Charles now, but PSA in a mess. What's the name? Oral Sanders can't do that work. He don't have the experience and the ability to do that work. Don't let him fool him. All he got to do is only run in front of camera. Could run in front of camera. Last time he dressed up in the PSA uniform from where he used to wear 2009. The man is a glad man. He can solve no problem. He can sit down in front, Dr. Dendial. He don't have that ability and that skill, and nobody on his team had that ability and skill. Let them come out and challenge me on that. I am only a voter in this PSA election. Me retiring this year from the public service. I could say what the hell I want, how I want. I'm not a part of nobody's team. But I tell you all you, if all they take God out all the thoughts and put Oral Sanders in the PSA, that he end the PSA. He can't close no negotiation. He can't handle nothing in the industrial court. He can't go and talk to no PS, nobody. And not only that, he's a psychiatric nurse. We the steward have a union. When them get recognition, assistant psychiatric nurse will be under them. So then he going to leave all you and go on under his union and leave the union PSA dresser. Come now, man, we be real. Know what they're doing. So I said there are Oral Sanders, come out and let we know if your character could stand scrutiny. And we go have a conversation. Because my character could. Whatever cocoa I have in the sun, rain could wet it, the sun could dry it, it could wet it back. Me no business. Me ain't do nothing in my life where I shame about. Whatever I do because I felt at that time that's the only choice I could have made. So me no shame about anything. So peoples, again I'm saying, they want to know who Minister Stuart Young is. I would have given you that. Look at him, look at the man works. And it doesn't matter to me if you know come, you didn't come, you guys are just come too. So you see that word just come? I don't have time to just come. They could be a just come and they could do the work that people did for years and years and can't do. That's a reality in life. You just come in a space and you hold everything boring and thing, and you just come in just so. And the place hot up and nice up and that's how it has been like. So this talk of just come and Johnny come lately, that only comes into play if you don't have the qualification, you don't have the experience. Experience don't mean years, you know. Experience don't necessarily mean years and years, you know. You have the experience, the ability, the credibility, the education to go with it, the character, the humility. What again you want? So that's my member of parliament, and I saying today, I, Jennifer Frederick, a constituent in the constituency of Port of Spain North St. Anne's West. My member of parliament is Minister Stuart Young SC, who is the Prime Minister-elect to lead the People's National Movement in the 2025 general election. Minister Stuart Young SC has my full support. And as a person of African descent, a Rasta woman, I'm proud to stand up next to the Indian Chinese man and support him and don't get no horrors. Because when I stand next to a minister, if I stand next to him, I stand as an equal. Not equal in the terms of salary or education or position, but as a human being, as an equal. And I will say again, and I will say it and I'm owning it. Yes, as a slave catcher. Because when I catch the slaves, whoever let's say the slave is, when they leave from me, they're leaving proud to be black, proud to be African, proud to be whatever they are, and knowing they could stand with anybody as an equal and not have their head bowed down and feel no how because this one is lawyer and this one is doctor and you are working, or you is just a mason, or you is a cook or whatever. Equal. But when all you catch them, when they leave from all you, they're more confused. They're afraid to stand and assert themselves. They feel less than. They have no self-worth. They have no self-esteem. They have no self-confidence. That's when all they catch them, all they just finish. When they come by me and I catch them, all they send them. They're coming out strong, self-esteem, self-confident, proud to be black, proud to be Indian, proud to be Chinese, proud to be Syrian or whoever it is. So let me catch them. And I ain't have no qualms. This black woman support, I'm saying it again, I support Minister Stuart Young because them who talking black conscious I not retold it since in the 2000s. That were asked Kojo where the report was to send for them to know how much they to do the research. Where you say, when Go to Ari was the principal of UE, that African children who bright wasn't getting in medical school. Where you do for them? It wasn't Professor Bartholomew, God rest his soul, who some of his people who work with him, students who couldn't tell him about it, and he raised a stink and then whatever. What you do? You had an African with them NADAP or whoever African group NADAP or Naya or some damn thing. You had work on it. Who African you held? Just like the next one with the Black Caucus. What happened to Black Caucus? That was a beautiful thing. African people was all up in their jerseys selling things that been lectured this, that. Where Black Caucus? Only leave me alone, yes? Leave me alone, yes? I just look at face, me looking at race. And if he is Indian and you treat me unjustly and unfairly, we go have problems. Same thing with Chinese, with Syrian, with African, with whoever. Once you come with me with love, truth, and honesty, we good like that. People, let me see all here today's Friday. Let be safe out there. Today, I was supposed to play an ad with a job workshop thing that's happening at Napa today under the auspices of Minister Stuart Young. I clean forget to play it, but that was something that happened at Napa today. I think it's finished by now, where young people could come out, meet business people, learn how to sign up for businesses, how to do resumes, how they could get grants and that kind of thing. It was like a fair, a work fair for young people. That had happened at Napa today. Yeah, I think it was today. I really forgot to advertise it properly, my bad. Tomorrow there's also something, well, not tomorrow. I'll let you all know as I go along. So people, yeah, we support Stuart Young. Let them stay there with that choppy talk, boy. Well, I don't know what happened. I'm not seeing anybody today. So Shelton, I support Stuart Young too. Yeah? BC robbed my late mother of her monthly $100. Herself. Who is BC? Well, Sister Jenny Ahame. Well, Sister Jenny Ahame, I'm your loyal voter. I not going up for the PSA election. I supporting Nixon Calendar and his team, if that we're talking about. PSA Team Sentinel, that is the team to vote for if you're voting. Have a wonderful weekend, all, yes, and that is what I wish for you also, Glennis, who I'm seeing here, Glennis, Shelton, Allison. I can't see everybody else, I'm so sorry. Anton, I'm seeing 66 people on the live. I want to thank you all for coming to stay and hang out with me. I ain't had the big equipment and the this and that simple thing, but I just believe in simplicity. We on the ground with you, yes, Anton, we on the ground with them. At the end of the day, it's PNM. We can't afford to the UNC come. UNC have nothing. UNC don't have, I only know that. The chief whip, ugly, on $1 million bill. Look how Paradise get on. Look at Jolene John. Look at which name? That tall one, the bird. Oh God. Khadija. And some little background with some man and some this and some all kind of thing and some all kind of thing. Well, let me play this quick for you. Me, you know who is this, people? So don't say I say is nobody. I don't know who the hell is this. I don't know who is this. But I want to show you something. Oh, yeah? Me know who is that now, Papa. I see them a lot on Facebook and thing. It look like a party they have. And then that here is like somebody, I don't know if it's a firecracker or if it's a gel blaster. I mean, I know the hell it is. And I don't know. Like, all enjoy the weekend, eh? All enjoy the weekend. Stay safe. Remember, sorry, PNM I taking about. Sorry, it's PNM I talking about. PC for Black Hawk. Oh, Black Hawkers, yes. Sure, as the man for PNM. If them you want to see it, so and study color and who just come and didn't come and should have come and all. Look now. I'm happy, yes. Sure, it will bring a different brand of politics. Yeah, I firmly believe that. PNM must go. And who must come, Marky? Come now. Who must come? Marky, you want a team of people to come who one before the $250,000 deal. One with some man was in some car and something and some gunman and she hole and something like that. And next one who did posing naked or she pamper them outside. It have a next one he named Satan human trafficking, one of his own Satan. It have a next one was in some involvement in embezzlement of money from some place he did work in. It have a next, oh God, and it just goes on and on and on and on. They all want to come back in this country, Marky. Come now, man. All be real now. All think about all the children now, boy. Think about all the nieces and nephews now, boy. All so wicked to all the self, boy. If Kamala and them was a decent opposition party where I could have talk about and say yes, but they're not decent. Kamala is all drunk, as now we say so. Kamala, I don't know if Kamala wearing pampers by now. I don't know. Kamala teeth and them and she more dirty. Oh God. Even that and all, she can't clean and she will be leader. And then she said she's a diabetic and they say she should smoke and drink. Them say so, but she said she's diabetic. If you had them three things combining and you're not cleaning your teeth and seeing about yourself and you continue smoking and drinking, your teeth will look so she could end up with a whole plate in she mouth. And then when you're diabetic, you can't them things that's irritating things. So we talk about. Well, that one the one by. She two leg and them things and she can't come out of the vehicle by herself. Dr. Rolly older and Dr. Rolly stepping out of the vehicle and walking fast and she had to hold on and hunch over. And next thing she got a hunchback. Oh God. All it okay? All it okay? Cameraman Marky. If you see Kamala teeth under my shame, my teeth whiter than Kamala. I mean, all that kind of money, you could take it and use a drill and start to dig out it looking black one place, then some yellow, and oh God! Marky is all a political leader. And then the ones who want to join with she, them are not different. Come now, Marky, sit down to yourself. You can sit on the fence and let it thing choke your balls and like expose and drag out your business. You sit down right there on the fence. You sit down right there on the fence, Marky, because if you can't get clarity now, it means to say you didn't learn your ABCs properly. Because I don't know what other clarity you could bring. If I telling you all this about the UNC, them shouldn't even be in your spectrum at all. You can't tell me Hope, you can't tell me NTA, you can't tell me PPP. You can't be serious. So what clarity again you want? Go away, Marky. Marky, I want you to leave Trinidad and Tobago, and I want you to go Barbados and see if you could buy food there. Because right now, the elderly and them having problems to buy nutritious food to eat because they can't pay for medication and food. They don't have free medication like we in Trinidad. I wanted to go, Marky, to England right now, where it have 4 and 5 weathers. Yeah? Snow, winter, fall, all kind of thing. And go there. And don't have heat to heat your house because they take away the subsidy. And see if you have to go and sit down in the library with a heat whole day and go and spend about 2 hours in the house. I wanted to go there, Marky. I wanted to go in New Jersey, in America, just where you go there alone. And see if you have to stand up and beg for food when the weekend comes. Huh? Come now, man. No, when you go Green Guyana, where they say have all the money, and they have all the money, and see all the dirt road, and all the old board house, and the fallen house. Imagine the now when I'm built, I understand, a school for the deaf. Since I went to school and I small, it's a school, blind welfare school. It used to be up in, it had one up in Santa Cruz because a child in primary school used to go and visit them. And it had the school for the deaf. We had a long time. I hear they say they're not going to build a school for the deaf in Guyana. So what I'm showing who deaf, them ain't know the sign language. So how them does communicate? Come on, man, go Guyana now. Where's in Guyana? Oh, the president give the teachers and them money. You see all them teachers and them have to stand up in the hot sun. If it's so much of them crossing over a thing with dirty stinking water with grass by the road. The teachers, you would think any government in this country could send their money to get teachers, and teachers go and stand up in hot sun. They may go in, they go tell you keep it. You have to put that through the bank account. So what are we talking about? You want to go with Singapore? Go Singapore. Well, when the president or the prime minister, if he said today, you're here to paint blue, don't paint it. You can't throw chewing gum on the ground. What he say goes. It's know. Well, we think, and we think if you don't want that, it ain't happening. Or they want that. Because like how Singapore reached the States, it ain't no democracy, as drastic measures. Go Singapore now. Well, then go. All who have so much problem, it's so hard and bad. Don't go them party where promoters saying they go have over 400 events this year. It's more than last year. Don't go. Don't go and play my ass, sit down home and whine because we're suffering and we're hungry. Sit down inside. Don't go in the grocery, don't go in Massy, don't go in Price Mart, don't go nowhere, sit down in a corner and it's suffering bad, and the country hard and bad. But car selling out, new model car selling. Me ain't seen no car place closed down, and you don't get car free. You don't go in and say, well, I want this one today. Mark, you only be real now. Be real. And then we had to deal with Trump from Monday. And they don't set off one man trying to show if he piggy bigger than the next one. So one sent up, he rocket, and the next one sent up, he rocket. And it blew up in the air, and it affect we in the Caribbean. Go America, Marky. Go there. And sit on the fence there. Let us go right up in the behind. When they're going to start to drip and lick. Olia, I go on. I love Olia. Enjoy the weekend. See you all on Monday because when I come with something fresh, something new. This is your Ginger, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get from Miss Jennifer Frederick. And I do love you. Even Marky and all I love at the end of the day. Because Marky do me nothing. Marky just talking. I just trying to show him Marky what all is saying. It ain't making sense. If you want to sit on the fence, that is your business. Don't take part in nothing. So don't have a say in nothing. Because if you're on the fence, you have no right to get involved in we who does vote business. Don't tell we nothing. If things bother you, don't tell we nothing that your business. You don't have a voice. Because you choose not to take part in the democratic process. A process where hundreds of people died. First have the right to vote. You don't want to vote? We can vote in this country. Even after enslavement, because you have to have money and property. Women couldn't vote at all. And women fought for the right for women to vote. I don't play with that at all because I know the shoulders I stand on. People die first had the right to vote. Martin Luther King and others during the civil rights movement and before that. For us as African people to have a right to vote, to be stand up and counted, and you want to sit on the fence, boy. I'm glad for this. Have a blessed weekend, all you. Yeah, drip and lick. That's why I had to tell them now. Sit on the fence. Let's stick you up in the behind and start to drip and lick. And bend over and take your head, use it like a tampon and let go up and stop the drip. All I go and I love all you. See all you on Monday, God's spare. But no, the only party, the only political party could keep this country afloat. And they said it when the PNM formed in 1956, you know. They said all the time that legislature, the colonials was here running thing and legislature, blah, blah, blah. But when the PNM came into formation in 1956, then this country saw stability from the chaos. It is written. Back then, they know that the PNM is the only party to take you out to the morass, the mayhem and bacchanal and confusion and keep you on a steady path. Them didn't know it back then and all they don't know it now. All you have a blessed time. Yes, I love all it.